don't know if you guys can hear them chewing. I'm not a big fan of chewing sounds, but goat chewing seems to be so soothing. Let's see. Just a little ASMR for you if you're into that. I do enjoy goat chewing. So we're back with another hay feeding video. You can see there's more kids kind of gathered around. They're starting again to really figure it out. The younger kids, aside from being Bucky, that's my little buck. That's going to be a buck, so at least he knows what he's supposed to do. With his sister, the doe, watching over. And then Sock Monkey's two little boys sort of on the outskirts here because they're still a little young to be really trying to eat hay. All the older kids are trying. One of the things you'll notice is we still have the heat lamps running. And it isn't really necessary at this point. In fact, it's probably a little bit of a waste of energy. But at the same time, this is how we're able to give the kids the freedom they need and deserve, even on a damp and cold morning like this morning. Now, this afternoon, if you listen to the weather guy, somehow this is supposed to turn into an 80-degree day. Right now, it's about 45, and that's all Fahrenheit, of course. So if it does actually warm up, we will certainly come down to the barn, turn the heat lamps off, and not waste time. But what I do find is that the kids still gravitate toward the heat lamps, even when it's warm out. Even when you would think, oh, they don't need it. It's 70 degrees. There's nothing wrong with that, right? They're growing, they're burning energy by running and playing, and if they want to nap under a heat lamp and not have to spend that energy keeping their temperature up, huh, baby girl, what are you doing? You are so funny. Then, why not give them the opportunity to have that? There's, again, nothing wrong with it. They certainly have the ability to regulate their temperatures. But if they can use their energy stores to put into, their skeleton, their musculature, their ability to look at her standing on her mom. Their musculature, their coat. Whoa, what was that? That was fun. Then why not, right? Why not let them burn their calories with play, with growth, with development, and when they're napping, let them nap under the heat lamps. So that's what we do. And, does it cost us a little more money? Of course it does. But is it worth it? Yes. So we do leave heat lamps on a lot longer than most. And again, completely unnecessary. It's just how we do things. And I don't necessarily say that your situation is the same or should be the same. This is just how we do things. I talked last video about grain a little bit and hay. What I haven't talked about yet is some of the stuff that we do when we send these kids home, right? So whether the kids are wethers, no pun intended, wethers are the castrated males, intact bucks or does, it doesn't matter. They all go home registered, microchipped, vaccinated, health checked. They have tattoo numbers assigned. Now, microchips have, really usurped the need for tattoos, but in some cases, tattoos are required, especially for 4-H. So if necessary, we will tattoo them. And they are, of course, castrated if they're going to be wethers, and all of them are disbudded, so no horns. If necessary, we certainly treat them. As you've seen, we had to bring in a vet for our guy with a sore leg, who, by the way, is 100%. Like, there's nothing wrong with him anymore other than the fact that he likes to push his way in and have some hay. He's perfectly fine. And then what I do before I send these kids home is I do give our new owners, even if they're already previous goat owners, a whole list of how do we care for them? What supplies are we using? What supplies do I recommend having on hand? How to, raise and introduce baby goats to your farm, right? I try and give everybody the best start they can. And, I've bought from breeders before, of course, and I have yet to ever, I'm squatting down, so sorry about that if there was a little shake there. I just want to be closer to my little nuggets. See how they run over as soon as I squat down? They know who I am. And they do come check in with me. And these are all dam raised. They're not bottle raised. They're just friendly because we spend time with them. We socialize them. We touch them. We feel them. They come to see me. They come to see Farm Hubby. We introduce them to strangers. We introduce them to dogs. So we do a lot of that work, which, many breeders do. But what I have never gotten from a breeder is that surround sound support. And that's what we offer here. Whoop! I moved too fast for you. Is really that surround sound, right? So it's not just, I gotta stand up again because my legs are killing me. Here's your baby goat, best of luck to you. It's, here's your baby goat, here's how to take care of your baby goat, and oh, by the way, call, text, email anytime you have a problem, and I will be there for you. And that is part of the service that I provide. We do have a purchase agreement that we sign with every new owner. The purchase agreement requests, frankly, because that's all we can do, first right of refusal, so meaning that if they can't keep the goat for any reason, we would like the goat back as opposed to having it sold or brought to auction or any other, areas that it can be rehomed, etc. I can't always bring them back, and thankfully I really haven't had that often, right? And we talked early on about Maleficent, who was sold and came back. So I do it when necessary. In some cases, I'm able to help them find new homes without actually taking the goats back, right? I just help not broker, that's the wrong word because I'm not getting anything out of it. I help make the connections so that they do move to a new home, that I'm aware of the new home they're moving to, that I can help with registration transfers. And it just, it enables me to be able to know that what I'm putting out in the world is still taken care of and maintained. Is it a guarantee? It is not, right? I cannot legally enforce that rule, and I wish I could, but I can't. So it's a request. And I've had most owners, honor that request. And like I said, there have been times that I've helped rehome goats that have needed rehoming, and there's times I've taken goats back that have lost their home for various reasons. And it happens. Life isn't perfect, unfortunately, and these guys live, 13, 14, sometimes 15 years. I've got some 13-year-olds. And so there are times that the babies hit 5, 6 years old, life circumstances have changed, and suddenly they can't maintain them. A job has transferred them. There's all sorts of things that go on, right? Like, things happen. And I'm there even 5, 6 years later, even 8, 9 years later. I am there for our babies all the way through their lifespan. And that goes with our baby birds as well. There's not as much work in that, right? I don't give a care sheet for chicks and ducks. They sort of care for themselves, but we do the talk on what to feed, how to feed, and certainly I have those lists and links if necessary. But that is part of what I think makes our farm just a little bit different, right? And it's why I maintain a small farm. It's why, I have plenty of space. Has nothing to do with that, right? I could have a larger herd of goats and I could have more babies and, in theory, make more money. But that is not what it is for us, right? It's about the love of the breed. It's about the love of the goats. And it's about my ability to take that time to be there and to provide that surround sound. So I just thought I'd mention that a little bit because I've been getting a couple of questions through, some of the videos. I've also, of course, been getting some questions from some of our new owners. Like, they're getting prepared to bring their babies home, which is awesome. So, we do provide all of that. And it is all done by me. It's just easier to funnel it all through one person. When needed, in person, Farm Hubby can certainly take over. He knows just as much as I do. But when it comes to the computer, the texts, the emails, that's all me. So again, just chatting a little bit while the kids and mamas have their breakfast. But thought I'd share what I do when we send home all of these babies, because a lot of you get attached to them even through video. Lord knows I'm attached to them. So know that they're going not only to great homes, but they're going with that surround sound support so that they maintain their fabulous homes and fabulous lifestyles for their entire lives. And our little guys, our younger guys, all four of the younger guys are out here just rocking the empty space without the big kids pushing them around. Of course, little Miss Bossy doesn't get pushed around at all. Isn't that right? You don't get pushed around at all, do you? And as soon as I say something about you, you come over. You're so funny. You're so funny. And that's about it for today. So I hope that there's some sunshine in your future. I hope there's some sunshine in my future. And, you'll probably be seeing this on Easter weekend. So have a wonderful holiday if you celebrate. And I will see you at the next one. Bye for now.